Is it live? No, I know it's live. I'm a nerd. I know these things. Hello and welcome. In fairness, the camera I've dropped so many times off my desk, and it's at least 10 years old. So maybe I should get a new one. I don't know. Um, Hi, this is the ShaneCast, by the way. I've never done a video with it before, but I'm hoping that I could steal the audio from it for my audio podcast, which I've been doing for a couple of years now. So, anyway, hi, how are you? My name's Shane. I'm uh, the sexiest man in Canada. That's what I tell people, and I apparently they believe it. So how do quite honestly, one of the things that I've been doing lately is I've been trying to re-energize my creative soul. I've been trying to get myself a little more excited. And if I seem a little bit forward, if I seem like I actually know what I'm talking about, that's probably because I do. But in reality, uh, the truth is that I've been doing an audio thing for a long time, and I do have people that actually listen. I don't know why, but they do because I have pearls of wisdom. Oh my god. But anyway, one of the things that I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to re-energize myself to get myself I don't know, rebooting my online self a bit because I've allowed over the years, this is not something brand new, but over the years I've allowed myself to get sucked into work, into the work thing, and not get out of it. And for the last couple of years, I've actually really felt the thing that happens. You see, when you start online and you work online, the last thing you want to do when you disconnect. Holy cow! Disconnect from the universe that is work, you tend to find yourself lost, and you get stuck into I don't know, the drudgery of you don't want to do the same thing you did all day. You want to get away from the technology. You want to go outside. You want to do these sorts of things. You want to cuddle the dog. I have a dog. She's cute and adorable, and she like cuddles, and I therefore have to provide her such things. So I've done that quite a bit, as you can tell, because I'm losing my mind. Um, but I'm finding it hard to actually to do those things. Finding it hard to really jump into stuff that is fun for me, but not necessarily work related, because it's been a long time. I mean, quite honestly, I have been doing the stuff that I do since the internet started. Unfortunately, unfortunately I had friends. No, unfortunately, I had a lot of nerd friends that basically, I guess. By the way, I'm introducing myself to those who don't listen to the audio stuff. They actually just, you might be like, "Who the hell is this weirdo?" Uh, let's 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 back up. So anyway, when I first started doing tech stuff, it was the 80s, and webcams didn't exist to frustrate me in my blurry way. But essentially, oh, you've got to be kidding. For those of you listening, I'm fighting with a webcam, and it's winning. So there you go. Hey, have some more light. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. I don't have lighting for my desk because I have never done this before. But essentially, um, what happened is that I tore a computer apart back in the 80s, and I really loved it. And then I found a bunch of people. I found a community that was around in Victoria where I grew up, and they adopted me. They kept me. They let me join their little cabal of nerds, and that's kind of where it all started. And then suddenly one day, I remember getting a phone call from a friend of mine who said, "Hey Shane, you have to come over right now. I have access to the internet," which, being a uh, of the BBS era, running my own BBS for a while, for a few years, I wasn't unaware of the internet, but I wasn't realizing that we could have access to it that readily. So yeah, so I went over. We used things like Fetch to find stuff. We had stuff like it was beginning days. So that was awesome. So that was really cool. So I built my own little website for like the first iteration, not under Shane's world, but it was under something else that I don't remember. It was hosted at a university in Victoria, or at the University of Victoria. You know, it's really sad, actually. Come to think of it, speaking of university, back when I one of the weird things back then is it was almost a requirement to take a computer class in university because were fearing that people were not going to be, they would not be. Uh, I guess they were fearing that students would be left behind in this whole new internet highway, and it was strange because I had built websites already. I had run a BBS. I had done all these things, and I walk into this class and I basically had to just sit around and twiddle my thumbs because it was kind of boring. I really didn't enjoy it that much because I knew a lot of junk. By the way, this is the way my podcast tends to go. I will generally try to hit the record button on something and I will just let myself riff on whatever's on the top of my head. Um, so enough of the introductory crap. Let's get on to what I did today. Today, basically, I had a very, very quiet morning and nothing out of the ordinary happened. And it was very, very calm. No, it wasn't. 5:45 this morning, birds start chirping, dog wakes up. Basically, when that happens, it's bright out because it was a gorgeous day today. A little cloud during the day, but it's all right. We had to get up. So we got up and that was a goal, well, just 13 hours ago or so. So essentially, got up and it was great. And but then after a little coffee was taken, was injected. Wow, I'm really nervous. Can you tell? I'm like a nervous kind of person at the moment. But anyway, so yeah, so basically I had some coffee and then suddenly boom, there was a knock at the door and that was about 7:15 or so in the morning, maybe actually no, it was a bit earlier than that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Basically it was early and they my a neighbor across the hall was had this look of horror on her face. I opened the door, I looked into the hallway, and there she was, and she just had these dish, when your eyes get really wide and they look like dinner plates. That's what she was doing because she was freaking out. And all she said was, "Something exploded in my apartment. Come now, come now, come now." So what did I do? I leapt into the hallway. Luckily, I was dressed, and I went to help her. And it turned out that one of the hoses on her sink in her bathroom had actually exploded, like it had burst, and water had been pouring into her apartment for what we sort of determined might have been about 10 minutes. So it was a lot of water, and that basically set my tone of the day. It made me go all the way from just it's Monday morning. I don't want to wake up. This sucks. To um, basically rescuing people from drowning in their apartment. Uh, One sad thing is I bailed. Actually, I was helping her. I was in the bathroom and I turned off the water and I went to check to see where the water had got to, like how far into the suite it had sort of invaded, and then I wiped out and I hurt my tush. So yeah. Um, I don't know why I'm so nervous with this. I really don't. I think it's because you can see me. I think hiding behind the microphone is really easy for a lot of people, and I'm one of those people. But today, to go back to what I was yabbering about earlier, is I'm trying to find different ways to inject a little more life into my creativity. And one of the things, actually, that the grain that actually got me to think about doing a live stream vlog is I have not vlogged for a very long time. I think the last toe that I dipped into the vlogging world was in 2014, where I had just got a new. Did I have it? No, I didn't. I had the old camera. I had a camera that I thought would be great, so I took it around and I recorded myself a bit, and then it was awful because when you live in on the west coast of Canada, it rains a lot where I am. So I was afraid that I was going to wreck the camera. So I ended up going out and getting a waterproof under the water. You can take it swimming down 20 meters, that kind of thing. And actually recorded myself with that, which worked out a hell of a lot better considering weather. And I did it over the Christmas time, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. I was really nervous about being on camera. I'm not a fan of being in front. I tend to live behind, as a lot of nerds do. Um, but as I said, I want to really get into a bit more creative stuff. I want to kind of explore what I can do with the world. And YouTube, the Grain, what I was talking about earlier, the Grain, YouTube actually introduced this thing called Camera, which I think is an offshoot of their YouTube app, which lives on people's phones, where you can hit a button and you can do live streaming almost instantly. And that's basically what happened here. Is I saw that option probably a month ago, and I thought, that's a good idea because it almost gives you no barrier to record. Um, I mean, it's not going to be as flashy or funny. I'm not planning anything really. I'm just basically wanting to talk to the camera and say hello, and blabber about whatever I do, whatever's in my brain. Um, but to me, actually, to be honest, the secret plan is that I actually have twofold. Where uh, one of the things that I find really irritating about podcasts, in general, audio podcasts, is not the content, it's the fact that it's inaccessible. Because I have friends who are deaf, and I know there's a huge, huge population of people out there that have some sort of hearing problem. For people that just have, some minor things, to people who are profoundly deaf, who would never appreciate uh, the audio that I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes for. And a couple of years ago, I actually experimented. I took the very first episode of the ShaneCast and I put it onto YouTube. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to do that and see what kind of text I can get from it, because YouTube has this ability to pull text from audio, and especially when it's only one person talking. Um, and I thought that would actually be a benefit, that if I had friends that really were interested at all in what I was blabbering about, they might be able to at least read the text that I was spouting. That didn't work out so well, mainly because in the first episode of the Shanecast, if you go and listen to it, which I might have to cut it a bit, but um, there is a bit of audio in that episode where it's I think I must have been 5 or 6, somewhere in there. And, because early on, my mother actually had, purchased a tape recorder, and she decided to record me, and we did that for quite a few years, and then my sister was born, and we did it when she was an infant, which is like there's audio of me talking to my sister, and she's just goo goo gagging. Goo goo gagging? I don't know what that meant, but there you go. But she was very young, and she would cry, and I would stop the tape, and I'd do whatever was required of me, and then, I'd go and record some more. But essentially, in the first episode, I had this text, or this audio of myself and my mother singing a song by Neil Sedaka. Neil Sedaka is a cool dude. He's a crooner from years back. He's still recording today, as far as I'm aware. And but I got a copy strike on it because it's my mother and myself singing a song that was copyrighted by him, or by his production company, and essentially, which I later learned was his wife, uh, who the automatic system had kicked in and said, "Hey, you're bad. You're copywriting, or you're using copyrighted music," and so that kind of quashed my desire to do it, because this little clip of really terrible audio from audio tapes from back in the 70s um, had actually been struck, which was weird. So it kind of killed my enthusiasm for that. But anyway, um, so it's been percolating in the back of my mind of doing something like this, like doing a vlog, and this probably won't be it. I think I'll do this so that I can talk and get used to looking at a camera and actually, getting back into that swing. And then also using the audio to continue doing the audio podcast, because there you go. So I don't know how regular the video will be. I'm hoping once a week, maybe to start, maybe once every couple weeks. But because I'm really doing this for me. I really want to get the. I want to feel like I'm not, completely insane. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, isn't it? We all want to be thought of as somebody who's has a brain and a soul and all of that stuff. So, but there you go. So, I'll leave it at that, because it is 15 minutes in, which I can't believe I've rambled with no discernible plan of attack. but that's okay. I am going to leave it there because I do in the audio podcast. I actually try and kill it around 15 minutes, and there's a little fancy timer on the screen that actually tells you how long you've been recording. So there you go. Um, if you watch this, I apologize. It's not totally cohesive, but it's a start. So I hope that you come back. I will say, I don't know, Mondays. Does that sound good? Maybe Monday and the thing. But uh, thank you, YouTube, for introducing this camera feature, which basically, if you've ever done any vlogging of any kind, you don't have to upload anything. You hit the record button. It says, "Hey, smile for the camera for your thing. Give it a title," and then that's really it. You hit a button and you're live, really. So uh, it's kind of nerve wracking. Anyway, thank you, everyone. And as always, I will see you, or you'll see me, next time. And who knows what's going to happen.